Well, they're two of the scariest words a woman can hear: breast cancer. And unfortunately, hundreds of thousands of women are told they have this deadly disease every year.
And it's not just targeting middle-aged women. In fact, this type of cancer is spreading into a younger generation. So what can you do to protect yourself as a woman, and how can you lower your risk? Well, Siobhan Kleffer has the answers in this special two-part report.
She was beautiful and friendly and happy and liked to do things, and it was just great. Perfect woman.
Bill and Karen were high school sweethearts who got married a few years after graduation.
We wanted to do that, have, get the house, have the kids, and start life together.
And for 20 years, life was perfect. They had a beautiful home, 2 beautiful children. The family spent nearly all of their time together. Everything was perfect until one Sunday morning, and everything changed.
Just told me she found a bump on her breast.
A bump Karen kept hidden from everyone for 2 years. The couple was in the clinic the very next day.
My thoughts were, okay, if you get it early enough, the chances of beating it are very good. You have a good chance. I didn't know she waited 2 years, but when you wait that long, it gives it time to go places, other places. And that's kind of what happened. It was a very confusing time in my life, and just couldn't understand it myself. It's really hard. It's a very, very sad place to be, the hospital.
But that's where the family went for 3 years, taking the 2-hour round trip to the Jervinsky Cancer Center for rounds and rounds of chemotherapy and radiation.
For their kids' sake, Bill and Karen tried to keep things as normal as possible at home. Regular family dinners, trips to the movies. They wanted to continue on with life as best they could, and most importantly, stay positive despite regular heartbreaking doctor's visits. And my heart broke when I heard the doctor tell my mom that she had 3 days to live.
To her last breath, was trying to beat it.
It's been 12 years, and I still have to fight back tears when I talk about her. Breast cancer is a horrible thing, and unfortunately a huge part of my life. But I'm not the only one. 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay, I'm just going to have you lean right in here for me.
We have close to 240,000 women each year that are diagnosed with breast cancer, and then of those women, about 40,000 die.
Mary Semania is a registered nurse. She works for the Michigan State University College of Nursing and Department of Surgery. She's been taking care of women with breast cancer since 2005, and like myself, lost someone close to her.
My grandmother died of breast cancer, and so I had some personal interest in it.
Are you having any problems in either breast?
Not today.
Thankfully, with advances in treatment, the number of new cancer cases has been holding steady since the year 2000.
Our treatment for breast cancer is so much better than it used to be, and our diagnosis, we're able to diagnose women at an earlier stage. Right now, about 89% of women survive breast cancer 5 years.
And one of those survivors is Maureen Hillary, though she never thought she would be.
I was healthy, my BMI was good, I was active, I used to walk a couple miles a day. I felt like I had pretty much nailed prevention and wellness.
Maureen is also a registered nurse, and on many occasions would have to sit down with women and deliver the devastating news, until August of 2012, when a doctor delivered the same news to her.
I was blown away, absolutely blown away. I had no expectation of news like that. I've always told women, it's slow growing, don't worry, don't panic, you have time to, get everything checked out. But you know what, when you hear that it's in your body, you want it out of there yesterday.
She did get it out with a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, radiation, and now medication that she'll likely have to take for the rest of her life. Maureen also lost her mom to breast cancer, and she thought she knew her risk, like many women, but in reality,
less than 10% of women know their own breast cancer risk, and I'm a good example. I thought I was very low risk because I breastfed my babies, I had children young, I had done everything right in my mind, but obviously my heredity and some other factors that I couldn't control were involved, and I was at higher risk of breast cancer than I realized.
And you can figure out your personal risk a number of different ways. There are a bunch of different calculators you can find online. I found this one. This is a great tool. It looks at things like your age, your height, your weight, and of course your family history. You just plug in a few numbers. Go to calculate risk, and as you can see, I have a 41% chance of getting breast cancer, much, much higher than the regular population.
Obviously, there are some factors you can't control if you want to lower your risk, but there are plenty of things that you can. The American Cancer Society says exercising regularly, eating plenty of vegetables, fruit, fish, poultry, and low-fat dairy products, and eliminating alcohol from your diet have all been proven to lower a woman's risk of breast cancer. You'll also want to know your numbers. Yearly mammograms should start at age 40 unless you have a family history. If that's the case, you'll start mammography 10 years earlier than your relative was diagnosed. My mom was diagnosed at 41. That means I should start getting mammograms at 31.
There are certain situations where women would have mammography starting in their 20s. For instance, if they were BRCA positive, that's the gene mutation that puts them at higher risk for breast cancer. Then they start at age 25.
Here's some breaking news for you. Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie is now waging a real-life war.
She got a preventative double mastectomy.
Wow.
Actress Angelina Jolie tested positive for the BRCA gene, which means her chances of having breast cancer go up dramatically. She made the proactive but difficult decision to remove both breasts. It's an option, and one doctors say cuts a woman's risk by 90%. In addition to mammograms, women can also get an ultrasound and breast MRI done to detect lumps. But remember, no one knows your body better than you.
Every woman that I've talked to that has found the lump herself, it's been almost the same scenario. They had a normal mammogram, and within a month or two, they found a lump, but they had this sense that they needed to get it checked out.
In addition to all the technology, doctors recommend screening yourself every month starting in your 20s. Do it after your period, and you're not just feeling for lumps, do a visual check as well so you know what's normal for you. And if you have any concerns, don't wait. Call your doctor.
Did you notice any redness or anything?
Early detection is key. But while the number of breast cancer survivors continues to climb, so does a scary new statistic.
We're seeing clinically a slight increase in younger women being diagnosed.
And what's worse, it tends to be a more aggressive cancer, and it's a cancer 29-year-old Christy Quintero is fighting right now.
They kind of checked and then double checked, and they were like, this, not what I think it is it? Like, you're too young for this to be happening, and this can't be cancer. There's no way it can be. And I kind of believe them.
But there was a way, and right now she's in the fight of her life. Now imagine getting this news, knowing you need treatment right away, but having no idea how to pay for it.
Yeah.
Siobhan, God bless you for telling that story.
That was one of well, by far the most difficult story I've ever had to put together, but I'm glad I can tell it, and I'm glad I, have that connection with it, and I can,
Absolutely.
it's so important. But where we're gonna leave off in part 2 at 11 o'clock, and I hope you'll tune in for that, is for women that don't have insurance or who are underinsured, and where they can go, and some of the foundations that are out there, and some of the clinics that are there to give you free screenings and mammograms and all that stuff. So that'll be in part 2. And Christy almost didn't go when she felt pain in her breast because she didn't have insurance.
And there you go.
Thankfully, her coworkers talked her into it, but she almost didn't go. So we're going to get into that at 11 o'clock.
So life-saving, absolutely. Thank you for telling that story.
Thanks for that, Siobhan.
Absolutely.
Very important information. And if you'd like to know more about breast cancer, what you can do, what you might need, please go to our website. Click right there, Seen on 6, that icon. And again, we're glad that you could be joining us to watch this tonight.
Earlier today in our 6 News Daily poll, we asked if you or anyone in your family has been affected by breast cancer. We had hundreds of responses, and 2/3 of you said it has touched your life in one way or another. So what do you do if you or a loved one finds a lump and don't have insurance? How do you pay for treatment? Siobhan Klepfer has some options in part 2 of our special report.
Ta-da! Boing, boing!
They kind of checked and then double checked, and they were like, this, not what I think it is it? Like, you're too young for this to be happening.
At 29 years old, Christy Quintero had just started a new job, was just about to move into a new home, and was looking forward to a new chapter in her son's life, kindergarten.
1, 2.
But just as things started falling into place, life for this single mom began to fall apart, starting with a weird pain in her breast.
I was feeling a little bit of pain, and I just kind of ignored it. I still went to work, and the pain just increasingly got worse and worse until I finally was talked to by my coworkers. They were like, you have to call the doctor, you have to go in. And I hesitated because I didn't have insurance, and I didn't really want to pay for it.
Reluctantly, she went, and her doctors found something, a lump.
You're young, this can't be cancer, there's no way it can be. And I kind of believed them. I was, okay, it can't be cancer, maybe it's just something that's, you know, I guess other women get it and it's not cancer.
But to be sure, doctors wanted follow-up tests, expensive tests that Christy had no idea how to pay for. That's when she found out about a special $45,000 research grant through Michigan State University and funded by Susan G. Komen Mid-Michigan.
It's for women that are under 40 years old that have a concern, that have a lump, they feel something different, and it could even be, I just found out that my 4 family members have had breast cancer, and I'm concerned about my genetics.
We see approximately 50 new patients a year.
Christy is one of those new patients. Tests started immediately. Blood work, ultrasounds, and a biopsy. And because Christy is under 40 years old, she didn't pay a penny.
You fill out surveys after each appointment, but it's all for research. It's all to better understand why younger women now are getting cancer.
It's one of those blessings and makes you sad at the same time. In that program, since April, 3 young women have been diagnosed with breast cancer.
And sadly, one of those young women was Christy.
He said, you know, I'm really sorry, but it did come back. It's cancer. I couldn't hold the tears back. It didn't cross my mind, I think, because I'm so young. I didn't think it could be. And I'm like, does this mean it's the end for me? Like, I don't know. You know, all you know at that point is it's cancer. You don't know what stage you're at. You don't know how long this has been inside of you. You don't know if it's traveled anywhere else. Does this mean I'm not going to be here for my son?
Here's a brown one.
Okay.
It took less than a week for Christy to find out she had cancer, and a very aggressive form. But as bad as that news was, she's thankful she found out, and fast, and thanks to the MSU grant. But what about uninsured women over 40 who don't have access to the grant? Well, for that, there's a federally funded program called the National Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program. To qualify, you must be between 40 and 65 years old and fall below 250% of the poverty level. So, for example, one person would need to make less than roughly $28,700 a year, and for a family of 4, the yearly income would need to be under roughly $58,800. Through the program, women can get free mammograms, breast exams, and all of the tests needed to determine whether a woman has or doesn't have breast cancer. The program is available in clinics all over Mid-Michigan and is one of many free screening options out there.
So I didn't feel anything unusual in the breast.
But once a woman is diagnosed, then what? Cancer treatment is horribly expensive, and unless you have insurance or can qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, it's going to be a challenge. But there are programs out there that can help you. Cancer Care is one of them.
It's $300 basically just to help. So it could be to help with all of the transportation, that help with gas. It could be to help with food. I think they write you a check, basically. And that's something that's funded by Susan G. Komen at the national level. So that's available anywhere.
And for women who can't work while going through treatment, there's the Pink Fund in Detroit.
They could potentially give you up to $3,000 or pay $3,000 worth of bills in 3 months.
Neither organization comes close to the amount needed to pay for treatment, but if you ask Christy, every little bit helps.
That's what made me really nauseous. Okay.
This is her life now. Every other Thursday, she comes here to the Breslin Cancer Center at McLaren Hospital for treatment. A long and painful process.
The chemos, I guess they take so long to administer because they slow them down so I won't have as many side effects while I'm there. The one kind of affects my heart, so they do it really slow, and then I believe it's the Cytoxin, the second one affects your sinuses. It takes me about 4 or 5 days to recover every time I get it. It's kind of like having the flu times 10. It's just, you're very nauseous, very tired, you're achy all over. You just want to do nothing but sleep.
What's been the worst part for you?
The worst part for me, just being a single mom and feeling like I just can't do it. I've just been so tired. Literally every other weekend is taken away from him. So my good weekends, I try to do stuff with him.
Thankfully, Christy's work insurance kicked in just in time, so most of her care is covered. And while beating breast cancer is still a struggle financially, thanks to help from her family, friends, and Susan G. Komen, she can focus the energy she has left on getting better.
Chances are you know someone who has, is, or will go through what Christy is going through right now. This year alone, more than 240,000 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. So what can you do to help? A lot. You can donate, volunteer, even participate in events like the Walk for the Cure.
75% of the money raised through Susan G. Komen goes directly back into the local community towards helping people just like Christy. The rest goes towards research. Research that millions of women who have been touched by breast cancer hope one day will find a cure.
My mom, my husband's mom, and then 3 of my mom's sisters have passed away.
And if you do find an abnormality, seek out care, treatment right away.
Any little weird feeling, check it out.
I think we're making great progress. There's a lot of research being done right now, and I think that we have great hope on the horizon.
And I do just want to thank Christy really quick for being willing to share her story, and she's so brave. She's got 2 more rounds of chemo, so about a month, and we're really hoping for some good news after that.
Yeah, we absolutely are. Very impressive reporting and lots of options out there.
There are, and Christy debated. She felt some pain, and she thought, I don't know if I want to go. It's going to be $180. I don't have that. Yeah, bottom line, if you think something is wrong, if your intuition is telling you, go get it checked out. Insurance or not, there are options available for you, as I've shown you. So, and if you have questions, call Susan G. Komen Mid-Michigan, because even if they don't know right away, they will find someone to help you. That's what they're there for.
Yep, absolutely. Lots of good resources. Thank you so much, Siobhan. We appreciate that. And if you'd like more information about how to fight breast cancer or get more information on any of the programs that Siobhan talked about, just head to the Scene on 6 section of our website, WLNS.com.